Bring us up to speed on let's start there, the OMO auction today.
Okay, there's no more auction today. What we have today is a PMA, which is the NTB primary auction, which was conducted. A total of 89.5 billion was offered for sale, and the results is not yet out as at the time of this interview.
Speaking about the OMO auction, we didn't see one yesterday. The CBN declined to conduct an OMO auction yesterday. Could you tell us why?
Okay, market was actually anticipating the NTB, so people were actually expecting OMO to.
Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Okay, people were actually expecting OMO auction on Monday, which didn't happen. That was the reason market did not start trading on time on Monday. Market was actually quiet between 10 and 12. Then up by 12 when there was no indication that there will be auction. Then we saw some buying interest in some of the maturities, especially the September 5th maturity and November maturities, and that was why we saw some of the yields drop during the September from 10.75% to 10.45%, and from 13.52% to 13.46% for November maturities.
Speaking about buying interest, I'm not sure if that's what you just talked about, but we did see more interest or more activity on the long end of the curve. Could you explain that? Just shed more light on that for us.
Okay, there was some buying interest for the long end of the curve. Okay. This was attributed to the fact that for a couple of OMO auctions that has been issued by the central bank, only the short term and the medium term were offered. The long end has been sidelined. So that was the reason why most interests were on the long end of the curve at the secondary market, and we saw 23.1 2020 fall from 13.3 levels to 12.885 levels.
Okay, talk to us about your outlook for the rest of the week on the yield curve.
Okay, we expect liquidity to continue for the remaining part of the week and months. We have one of the reasons being that there is a coupon payment of 51.84 billion tomorrow. We are beginning to see some portfolio investors' interest in our securities market. This was attributed to our stable exchange rate and better yields relatively. So we anticipate better. We anticipate more buying interest from especially the long end of the curve, and we expect that rates will drop further.
Okay,
as we have seen in the secondary markets.
Okay, let's move on now to the FX markets. Bring us up to speed on how the Naira has performed against the dollar since Monday.
Okay, when you look at the three aspects of the market, Naira has been relatively stable. If you look at the CBN window, it has been stable at 306.95 both on Monday and Tuesday. For the parallel market, we saw slight appreciation in the Naira. When you call, you will notice that the bid offer rate has been stable between 356 and 358. So at the parallel market, Naira has been trading between 356 and 358 from 357, 359. It used to be a couple of weeks ago, say last week and 2 weeks ago. Then at the I&E window, we saw slight appreciation too for the Naira. We saw it at 360.220 levels, especially 360.25 and 360.27 for Monday and Tuesday. This is comparable to the 361 levels it used to be 2 weeks ago and last week. So appreciation and stability has come to stay both for the I&E, the official window, and the parallel market.
So if there were to be any shocks, where could that come from?
If there were to be any shock, the shock will actually be from the parallel markets.
But do you expect that to happen? I mean, we've seen, like you said, stability in the last couple of weeks. Even though we did go through that political cycle, do you see this stability continuing for the next couple of weeks, or perhaps even across the quarters?
Yes, we see the stability continuing. This is on the basis of the fact that the central bank has continued to supply FX to the market, and if you observe, you see a slight depletion of our foreign reserve. It's presently at 42.6 for something that used to be at 43, 44 last month. We will continue to anticipate and expect the central bank to use the foreign reserve to defend the naira. It has worked in the past, it is working presently, and we expect that the same progress will be made for the remaining part of the month.
Well, what do you think about the rate of accretion of the reserves? We're still at 42, and like you said, we're still hovering around. I mean, we were at 43, now we're at 42. And I'm just thinking, I mean, with oil prices where they are, still stable, still at reasonable levels. But do you foresee, I suppose, I mean, if we do see more geopolitical tensions, that could support prices. But what is your forecast or your outlook in terms of the pace of accretion that we could see going forward?
Most fears have been centered upon, okay, foreign portfolio investors will start leaving once election issues will begin. But the election has come and gone, and it has been relatively stable. So we don't anticipate outflux of foreign portfolio investors anymore. Instead, we are seeing some presence of portfolio investors actually coming to the country. So we'll see more accretion in our foreign reserve.
All right, Emmanuel, thank you for talking to us today. We appreciate your time on the show. Emmanuel Mordi, currency trader at UBA, at bringing us up